The last light of the afternoon was fading into the dust of the unpaved road. Mist like smoke rose from distant fields. Some villagers were returning home with their cattle. In the cold autumn wind, the rustling of palm leaves sounded like whispers, as if someone was speaking softly into the air. His name, Rahat. A young man studying in Dhaka, returning to his village after almost 7 years. But this time, it wasn't for joy. His grandfather, Hafez Karimuddin, had passed away. As the boat crossed the river, an old wooden pier came into view. Kalapani Ghat. He remembered the stories from childhood. They said a woman drowned here long ago, and since then, anyone who came at night saw footprints on the surface of the water. Uncle Shafik came to meet him, his face weary in an unusual way. "You came just in time, Beta." The funeral was last night. Entering the house, Rahat saw everything just as it had been. His grandfather's Quran, the prayer mat. Only in a corner of the room there was a small black patch on the floor, as if something had been burned by fire. After taking a bath, he ate, refreshed himself, and went to sleep. Suddenly, at 2 in the morning, there was a loud knocking at the door. Rahat asked, "Who's there?" No answer. His eyes fell to the floor, and his heart froze. Fresh footprints were moving straight toward his room. But at the end of the trail, there was no one, as if they had vanished into the air. The next morning, Rahat's sleep was broken by the village's Fajr call. Yet those footprints still lingered in his mind. In the afternoon, he went to his grandfather's grave, located at the edge of the village, right by the river, where Kalapani Ghat begins. The Ghat was now deserted and old. Shalo trees had grown under its steps. Few ever came here. Suddenly, Rahat saw an old woman there. Her hair was gray, a white scarf on her head, a stick in her hand. She spoke in a calm voice. "Your grandfather hasn't died. He's been taken by the Daira, Rahat." Nervous, could hardly understand. "What do you mean, Daira?" Then she suddenly turned around. Without a sound, she disappeared into the mist. For a moment, Rahat thought maybe he was imagining things. But by then, it was almost dark. As night fell, the village air changed. Many houses' candles went out. From the river came a whispering sound. Curiosity drew him closer, and he heard it more clearly. "Rahat, why are you coming to this Ghat?" Suddenly, the wind blew strongly, and the water at the Ghat swirled into a circle. In the midst of it, a face appeared. Eyes closed, a beard, and an oddly serene smile. It was exactly his grandfather's face. His voice too sounded just like his grandfather, but he knew his grandfather was dead. Then whose voice was this? Overwhelmed by fear, he ran back home without thinking, still hearing whispers. "How far will you go?" When the shadow calls, a person cannot return. That day he told no one, thinking, who would believe him anyway? As night fell the next day, at exactly 2:13, there was another loud knock at the door, this time louder, thumping. Rahat shouted, "Who's there?" From outside came a slow, cold voice, as if from inside a grave. "I am Karimuddin." Gathering courage, Rahat opened the door, but there was nothing outside. Only a figure in white could be seen in the darkness. Rahat grabbed a torch and began following it. Reaching Kalapani Ghat, he saw a cap at the last step of the Ghat stairs. But it was his grandfather's cap. Through the thin mist, a white cloth floated slowly toward the river. On the water's surface, footprints appeared. Someone was walking across the middle of the Ghat on water. No sound came from Rahat's mouth. Only the whispers came from the river. "Rahat, go back. It's too late. Returning is impossible." He wanted to scream, but no sound came out. Suddenly, the footprints returned, accompanied by the white shadow. Seeing his grandfather's face, Rahat fell to the ground in terror, fainting. When he regained consciousness, he was in his uncle's room. When asked why he had gone to the Ghat at night, he told the local religious scholar everything. The scholar listened silently, gave him some prayer water to drink, and said, "I will meet you in due time." Even now, Rahat still sees the vision of the previous night, the half-submerged faces in the river, his grandfather's whispering voice. He wondered if his grandfather was trying to say something to him. Lost in thought and almost half asleep, he heard another sound. Suddenly, a wordless call to prayer echoed. But this adhan was strange, not in the usual Islamic tune, broken, sometimes high, sometimes low. It was a call. Someone or something was not giving adhan like humans, but calling to the fear inside. Thinking this, Rahat ran toward the mosque, from where the sound seemed to come. He found the mosque old, walls broken, only torn prayer mats and dust inside. But there he saw his grandfather sitting, one hand on the Quran, the other pointing to something written on the ground. The writing said, "Rahat, tonight ends here. Whether your family and village are freed from this curse depends on your courage." Suddenly, the white shadow moved toward the river ghat. Trembling, Rahat followed. At the end of the footprints, he saw a paper. Summoning courage, he picked it up and began to read. It said clearly that an ancient mistake could now be atoned for. "If you can free us, everyone will be freed." Without hesitation, Rahat began to follow the instructions on the paper, reciting the Quran, while shadows circled him and their reflections shimmered on the water. At every step, voices urged, "Do not stop. Continue, Rahat. Free us. Stop here." Still he continued. Suddenly the wind stilled. His grandfather's shadow moved across the river, whispering, "They are freed. You too are free from today." Yet he continued reading. Gradually a faint adhan reached his ears. Hearing it, Rahat lost consciousness. And thus, through his courage, an entire village was freed.